This is Chris and Caleb with the Chris and Caleb Real Estate Team, where we are committed to dramatically impacting lives through real estate. And we're here live with our monthly update on the market and what's going on. So today we've got a really good show for you, if you will, where we're going to talk about what happened in August with the market. And we're going to talk about a few client events that we've had or have coming up. We're also going to talk about what do you do should you list now if you're thinking about selling because the market is extremely hot. Or should you wait till spring? What are the pros and cons to that? And then last but not least, we have a great friend of ours, Josh Kranz, coming to join us to talk about some of the things he's involved in the Chester County, Coatesville area, kind of let you guys know what's going on. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them up here. We'd love to answer them live if we can, and I'll monitor that as we go along. But so here we go. Let's talk about the market. So if you go to our website, thechrisandcalebteam.com, and go to the blog, all the stats are up there. You got some graphs and things that it talks about. But here's the big thing with the market right now. It's been doing the same thing over the last couple of months. What's really important to note is two things. One, it is a strong buyer's market. Can you explain to them what a buyer's market is? No, it's a seller's market. I'm screwing that up. Wow, this is live, so here you go.
It's just the complete opposite.
Exactly.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
No worries. Most of you are probably familiar with the term a buyer's market or seller's market. It's a strong seller's market right now. All that alludes to, Chris, is basically that the sellers have the upper hand in terms of negotiation. Real estate is not that complicated. It's really all about supply and demand. You don't have to be a professor of economics at Harvard to understand that when supply is low and demand is high, then you're going to have a situation where the sellers are more in control, and that's exactly what's going on here in Chester County right now.
Yeah, so let me tell you what the gap is with that. So with the supply of homes for sale, last year at this time, in August we had roughly about 2,400 homes available. This time around we only had 2,000. That is 400 homes is a lot. That's a good chunk of homes, and from an inventory accumulation standpoint, we're around 4.25 months of inventory. This time around we're at 3 months. So that means if no new homes came on the market, we would sell out of homes in roughly 3 months, whereas last year it was a little over 4 months. That's a big deal, and that really dramatically affects what happens when you put your home on the market or if you go to buy a home. So an indicator of that is we are actually at 98% of asking price for the last 3 months. So what that means is that when you put your home on the market as a seller, you can expect on average in Chester County to receive 98% of what you're asking. That is extremely high. Most of the time we're at like 94, 93%, give or take, when you take the historical average. But right now we're at 98% for all of Chester County. I've gone back more than 10 years and I can't find the last time that it was like that. To me, that might mean that we're kind of at a peak. Only time's going to tell with what we see with that. I mean, with the inventory continuing to be so low, who knows? So, Caleb, what does that mean? You're our lead listing specialist. So you're the specialist for helping people sell their home. What are you telling folks right now, given that information? What's the advice you're giving them?
So first off, a lot of people at this time of year, they're kind of at a crossroads and they're trying to decide, hey, I want to sell my house. Should I wait until 2019 and go for spring of 2019? Or should I go ahead and list it today, list it now in this fall season? And so my question, there's no wrong or right answer. There's no one-size-fits-all type of situation. You really just have to look at, okay, what is your motivation for moving? And if it makes sense for you to move now, there's not necessarily any advantage to waiting and seeing what happens next spring. Mm-hmm. And here's the reason why. Just because of the numbers that you just shared, it's still a fantastic time to sell your home because there's just not a lot of competition. There's not a lot of inventory. So homes that are going on the market now still have a great chance of selling and selling very quickly for a great price. So I really just try to hone in on people's, their motivation and whether it makes sense for them to sell now. Because a lot of people are already thinking, it's too late, I'll just wait till next year. Well, the problem is there's uncertainty with next year. There's always uncertainty in the future, right? We know what the market's like now. We know it's a hot market. We know it's a great time to sell your house. We don't know what the market's going to be like next spring. No. Is it going to be great? I think it'll probably be pretty good, and yet we don't know. Interest rates have continued to rise, so that's going on. At some point, as they continue to rise, that will affect demand. It hasn't yet, which is great. and yet that will impact things. So, I always ask people, hey, look, if you could get your home sold now for a great price, would you consider selling it now? And if the answer is yes, then it might make sense to put the house on the market now. And if the answer is no, well, then we'll just wait till next year. So.
Well, I just want to point out from a cultural standpoint for us as a team, we really aim to give our clients the information they need to make a good decision. We're not here to push you into selling or buying a home. In fact, I hear you say all the time, you've never actually sold anybody's house necessarily.
I sell real estate, but I've never convinced somebody to buy a house or sell a house that they didn't want to buy or sell.
That's right. So it's all about what's driving you, and should you sell now? Is it the best opportunity? And I've traditionally handled buyers. My role in the team is no longer that. I help lead and look for talent. Yet I can tell you from a buyer standpoint, this market is extremely challenging. For sellers, it's like, okay, you put your house on the market and sometimes a few hours, sometimes a few days, sometimes a few weeks, it sells. And so on the buying side, though, it's a whole other story. You don't have a whole lot to choose from. You've got to be very clear on what's important to you about buying a house. You may not find the right house if you have very specific tastes. It might take a while. And when you do find that right house, you most likely are going to have to go over asking price to get it. And you have to be prepared to do that. You do not have a lot of leverage when it comes to the buying side of the deal. And so you've got to put your best foot forward financially. You've got to be able to make the best offer. You've got to have an agent on your side that is going to really fight for you and give you the tools it's going to take to get the job done. And not all agents have that experience. They don't do enough business to really understand what's going on with that. And so it's really important that you know what you're getting into when you get into this market. So
yeah, and when you find the right house, you have to make a decision quickly. Is this the house that we're going to make an offer on, or isn't it? Because if you waffle around and you think about it overnight, you may not have an opportunity to purchase that home.
That's right.
It is, so.
That's right. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to answer them or ask them. If you're seeing this later after we're done recording this, please put it on there. We see those comments. We'd be happy to answer them. And you did just kind of talk about do you wait for the spring or you do it now? And it all comes back to motivation. So if you have any questions about the market, please ask us. We'd be happy to help you with a home valuation, or if you're thinking about buying a home and you don't know what that looks like, you have no clue where to start, whether you own your own home or it's a first purchase, we would be happy to sit down with you and help you understand what it's going to take to get that done. Even if it's like the answer's, I don't know, maybe a year and a half from now, we'll be ready. That's totally fine with us. We're here to give you the information you need to make a good decision. So,
one final thought on that. If you do know that you're going to be listing your house in 2019, get in touch with us now.
Yeah.
What we can do is we can actually take exterior photographs of your house now while the leaves are still on the trees, while the grass is green, and that way we can list it relatively early in 2019 if that's your desire, because if you're waiting for the leaves to get green and the grass to get green, you're talking about April, May timeframe. And we've had a lot of success with listing far earlier than that in the spring season, January, February, March.
Awesome. Cool. Great idea. So let's talk about events, and then we'll bring Josh up. So the events, we just had a great event on Saturday. It was at the Downingtown Bowling Palace. We had probably somewhere around 180 folks out. I had a really cool experience with one person that came out from Paramount Jiu-Jitsu, where my kids and one of our other team members' kids go for Jiu-Jitsu. Great place, by the way, if you want your kids to learn discipline and self-respect, and as well as being able to take care of themselves. But they brought their kids out, and it was their first time bowling, and the looks on their faces were actually pretty cool. They just had such a great time, and it was really cool to be a part of that. So that was on Saturday. Anything you want to add to that?
I just want to say, man, you are really good at bumper bowling. I was really impressed. I mean, that was good.
Thank you. That's true, I am. So the next event I'm really excited to talk about. It's the first time we've done this one. We're going to have it here at our office on November 17th. We will be sending out invites to our top folks that have referred us business, as well as top clients and people that have really supported us first, and then we'll be opening it up from there. But we're basically going to do a pie giveaway from Bakers of Buffington. We're going to do a couple different types of pies from them, which are just amazing. And then we're also going to have a really awesome Santa Photos with Santa opportunity for free. So skip the lines at the mall. I know Exton Mall can be really crazy, and we'll have an opportunity for you to sign up with us and really come in and have a great Santa experience. The guy that we're going to be hiring is going to provide a really, really cool experience for the kids, and I'm so excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So November 17th, I think we're going to do it in the morning, like 9:30 to 12:30, but we're still working on that time for that, and it's going to be a great event. So keep an eye out for that. So
it's going to be a lot of fun.
it will be. So cool. With that said, Josh, you want to watch the chords, grab a seat, and come on over here. Josh Kranz is not only a good friend of ours, but he is scooching close, and I'll make sure to bring you in on the action here. So Josh Kranz is a good friend, and he's involved in some really amazing stuff in the area of Chester County. What do people know about you? What do you do? You do a lot. You do a lot. But what does just a kid from Coatesville like you do?
Several things. My heart is connected to specifically the city of Coatesville, and so not just me, but my family and a lot of people in our organizations. We have been working in the city of Coatesville since I can remember. My dad's been there. My mom and dad were both born and raised there, pastoring and ministering, and we direct the camp at Old Mill, which has probably 1,000 Coatesville kids and inner city kids from New York City and Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. all summer long. But primarily we work with kids from the city of Coatesville. And my wife is also executive director of the Bridge Academy and Community Center. I tell people I'm just a kind of glorified volunteer there. I don't really have a role other than just supporting what she does, and they do some incredible things. We just opened a new building, and we'll be able to do a lot of tutoring and academic achievement and mentoring, and we'll be able to work with some more adults there, do some counseling things, and actually have some really nice offices for our organization to work in.
I was there the other day, and it's nicer than our offices. I'm going to be honest, Caleb.
Wow, I mean, that's not the same.
No, it's a really nice facilitation. Wendell's Design and Build helped with that. Did a lot of work with that, so thanks Wendell's for that. And it's a really great area and space for kids and staff to come to just be able to focus on academics and leadership and things like that. And tell me, I don't know if you can pick one story without being too out there, but something that either from Camp the Old Mill or Bridge Academy, like a story of how you guys have impacted somebody's life there in a major way.
I would just think the generational things that we've been able to, from my parents on down to me and my wife now, been able to see, dads, sons, grandsons, grandmoms, daughters, granddaughters, generations of families. And there's not one family kind of sticks out to me in particular, but I think just the longevity of seeing, of coming alongside the community, coming alongside of families. I think last year we had probably a little over 500 people come through the Bridge Academy and Community Center that were, directly impacted by our programs. And so, but to me, numbers really don't mean anything unless you're really involved, building relationships, and seeing an impact of longevity. And so I think the longevity, and we're seeing, I'm working with sons of guys that I grew up with, and just seeing supporting families. And I think that has the greatest impact when you can not just come around a student that you're helping tutor or help do their homework, but when you're coming around a mom and a dad or a grandmom or the whole family structure and being able to support and encourage, it goes a long way. And I think that's what this area needs more than anything.
So our business has been partners with the Bridge Academy for the last 3 or 4 years, somewhere around there. And one of the reasons is our mission is to dramatically impact lives through real estate. you know, our jobs aren't to be in the center of Coatesville tutoring and things like that. Like, I'm not that smart, so it would be good for me to tutor kids for the most part.
I
But
bet
like,
those kids could teach you a thing or two.
yes, I guarantee you they could. But their organization's amazing at it, and that's why I wanted to partner with them, because they're the experts at reaching the folks there that need their help. You might have some questions. One question I want to ask you first, before you might have some questions for you. If County Corrections Gospel Ministries
Mission, yep.
mission were taken out and the Bridge Academy were gone from Coatesville, what would be different? What would change?
I know there'll be a lot of kids that wouldn't have a place to go after school.
Yep.
They wouldn't have a place to go in the summertime. There's a lot of great things in the city of Coatesville. I'm wanting to tell you that the city of Coatesville gets a bad rap, has a bad reputation. There's a lot of great there. There's a lot of great people, and there's a lot of great organizations. But there's not enough.
Yeah.
And so, but I think, I mean, to take those organizations out, I would just think in our little neighborhood in Coatesville, on the corner of Olive Street and Virginia Avenue, if the Bridge Academy wasn't there, I think it would have a profound impact on that neighborhood alone.
Yeah. And then, you have questions?
Yeah, I mean, so, all right, so let's say maybe somebody isn't familiar with what you guys are doing at the Bridge Academy and through this ministry. You know, how does somebody find out more about what you guys are doing, or get involved, or volunteer, or, you know, contribute to what you guys are doing? How does somebody come alongside of you and say, all right, I see what you're doing there, or I want to learn more about what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so many ways. I mean, I think people, lives are busy this day and age, and not everybody can volunteer for several hours in the afternoon. But we thrive on volunteers. I mean, we survive on volunteers. We have a real small staff of people, but easy things would be, you know, volunteering for tutoring in the afternoon. We run Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and have a luncheon. We serve 7 meals a week. So we have people that say, I can't come there physically and spend several hours there, but, you know, I'll contribute to a meal. Or, you know, we have a wonderful five or 6 years every single week.
Wow.
And that meal will feed, you know, lasagna and rolls and salad and, you know, you
Right.
name it. It's a good meal. And so, you know, providing that way, we always need financial supporters. That's something that's obvious, just to keep it going. But people donate books and things, and you can always check us out on our website is www.thebridgeacademy.org. It has all the list of our programs, where our greatest needs are, and just many ways that people could get involved.
Awesome. So you're also on Facebook, so you look up the Bridge Academy Coatesville. I'm sure that would come up,
Yeah.
and that would be awesome. Anything else that you want our audience to know about, you know, what you're doing, what you're at work? You know, you got a camera. You know, what else do you want to let them know about?
You know, just continue to think of the kids in Coatesville, and you know, there's a lot going against, I think, kids this day and age, no matter where they're from.
Yeah.
And so, you know, just a little glimmer of hope that we can give these kids can mean all the world. We had one of the principals from one of the schools come in and see our new building on Wednesday night, and she said something really cool. She said a lot of times we have to take these kids outside of the city in order for them to be able to dream, in order for them to be able to see something greater than themselves. So we take them to the beach, or we take them to the mountains, or we take them, you know, out to the camp.
Mm-hmm.
And she came in our building and just saw how excellent it was done, and the programs that we had to offer. And she said, this is something so amazing that you don't have to take them outside of Coatesville. They can come in their neighborhood, on their street that they live on, and you walk in this door, and they can be able to dream.
Yep.
And so it's that simple. There's nothing profound that we're doing. We're just showing up where there's the greatest need. And so I would just encourage anyone that's watching, is, or maybe you think you're inadequate, but sometimes showing up is, one of the biggest things that young people need, and it means so much.
Amen. Well, I appreciate the work you're doing in there. It's Coatesville's become my adopted city. I grew up in Downingtown, but I really feel like God's planted me there, and making a real difference in Coatesville. So appreciate you being here. So if you guys want to get in touch with Josh, you can reach out to us or go to the website to find out more. We'd be happy to connect you with them if you want to possibly look at volunteering or providing any financial means that you have. We'd be happy to do that. So with that said, appreciate you guys being here. Next month, it's going to be the second Friday of the month. We're going to do the same thing, and we're going to have a different guest on next time. So please tune in then, and until then, we'll see you.
And if you, limited time offer, if you volunteer at the bridge, Josh will teach you how to rap for free. 15-minute rapping lesson.
Yes.
Free.
Love
Yeah,
it.
free.
Absolutely free. I need that.